The fucking prison for you. Appropriate number what? Not going to fucking prison for you. Appropriate number what? Calling you a fucking pedophile? It is. Bullshit, bro. It's been no fucking mistake. You are a pedophile, Frank. Frank Battaglia is a fucking pedophile, dude. You fuck with kids. You fuck with children, bro. You fuck with kids, cuz. You fuck with children, bro. You shouldn't be fucking with kids, cuz, at all. You fucking with kids. Frank needs his ass whooped. I bet somebody else to put a what is that, 50,000 peso, 50,000 peso reward. I guarantee somebody go out there and whip his ass. Guarantee that would happen. All you gotta do is let the Filipinos know, hey bro, there's a 50,000 peso reward to beat the fuck out of this motherfucker. Frank's gonna get his ass stomped left and fucking right then. He knows it. I think somebody should do that. And yeah, I am inciting violence on you because you deserve it. You incited violence on me. Hey, bro, do it, man. Do it so I can kill the fuckers. Do it so I can kill them the fuck off. I'm not gonna do it. My baby can work with all that. I want him to do it. I want him to do it. I want him to do it. I want him to say, it's my duty, bitch. I dare you. Put that case on me, spirit. I can tell the police to go fuck themselves.
Saying is on here is, go ahead and put a second case on me so I could tell the police to go fuck themselves.
I'm not gonna learn anything. You're absolutely right, Frank. I'm not. That's what I'm gonna learn, bro. What am I gonna learn?
So he's not going to learn anything by continually being incarcerated and by not adhering to the law of the Philippines. It's a way of him throwing his cockiness at the whole system, what's happening. Being of thoughts that he's above the law, that he'll tell the police to fuck off if he gets served with another summons. If immigration breaks the rules, he said that he is going to break the rules.
His ass whooped. I bet somebody else to put a what is that, 50,000 peso, 50,000 peso reward. I guarantee somebody go out there and whip his ass. Yeah, big sucking cum guzzling motherfuckers, what he is. He thinks that he's really fucking, he thinks he's fucking teaching me a lesson. Now, the only thing he's doing is making it worse for himself. I'm not gonna learn anything. You had me put in jail, motherfucker. I'm not gonna learn anything. I'm gonna keep coming after you. Do you understand me? I'm not going to leave you alone. what you say to anybody else hurts us? No. One thing it does, it gives us fuel to fucking talk bad about you, say shit about you. Because we know it bothers you. Things bother you, we're gonna fuck with you about it. That's for damn sure. I'm gonna fuck with you. You put me in jail, motherfucker. You fucking bribe fucking police to fucking come get me and pick me up. You sure fuck did. And you expect me to fucking just learn a lesson? How do you think that all these motherfuckers that people put in prison, Frank, they go to jail. All these motherfuckers put them in jail. Do you think they're like, oh no, man, it's all right, dude. You were right, what you did, blah, blah, blah. Do you really see it that way, dude? I can tell you for a fucking fact. Motherfuckers that get put in jail by somebody else, when the other person deserves to be there and they don't let go of shit. They hold grudges. I hold a grudge. And you think that I'm going to let it go and leave it the fuck alone? Have you lost your fucking mind? After what the fuck you've done to me? You really think I'm just going to leave this alone? Do you? Really think that? Then the fuck is prison for you. Appropriate enough for what? Calling you a fucking pedophile? It is. Bullshit, bro. It's been no fucking mistake. You are a pedophile, Frank. The fucking prison for you. The ass whoop. Where's my phone? Frankie, you're sucking dick. Telling me I have to stop taking his money. All this good is bothering. Let's read this right here.
He's talking about the Bureau of Immigration, trying to make accusations that they're taking bribes. And now he's going to proceed to read this letter that he just got from on February 6th, I believe, from the Department of Immigration about his online death threats. And he's actually reading it aloud, which is meant specifically for him to read and not to be distributed to anybody else, certainly to anybody online. It's not made for public. Well, actually, up to this point, I have videos of him actually making threats of death to me, and even him saying that he's going to have somebody do the job for him. He will do it himself, put a bullet in my head, and this just goes on and on.
You little sissy boy. He said you wish somebody would kill me. Oh, you fucking threatened my life. No, it's not a threat, motherfucker. A threat is somebody saying they're going to do it to you. I ain't threatening you. That's not inciting shit. No, it ain't. No, he just got timed out 24 hours. But I'm not gonna block him. They blocked me on this channel, though, because they don't like what I was saying to him. But they keep listening to him, right? Why the fuck? Why they keep listening to him, right? My girlfriend has a complaint against him, and they're not fucking doing nothing to him. But he's allowed to harass me, right? Fuck you, big shot. Fuck you, motherfucker.
This kind of demonstrates his anger, and where he did have his girlfriend put a report or complaint on me to try to get immigration to deport me. This is an ongoing situation right now, but you could clearly see his hatred and his want for revenge in any way he could possibly get it. And that's why he got his girlfriend involved to lie and create a frivolous, bogus complaint against me.
I know where you want the dog. I won't come to your house. So you don't want to carry it going. Just so you understand this. If I get deported, I'm coming to town. I'll come back and you don't shut your mouth. The last word. I'm going to tell you like this. You know, brother, I am so sick of you running your mouth thinking that you're Dr. Billy Secrets. You know what? I don't care no more. I don't give a shit about you or your fucking case. Just so you understand. Well, the judge is going to do this, judge is going to do that because I'm certain I'm Dr. Nicotine.
The old man talking about my brother has said that he's going.
This is a voice of Charisma Saram, which is the girlfriend of Barry Lee Jordan. And Barry Lee had coerced her into doing a report on me. In this recording, there is, whether I can put the full recording on, probably for listening's sake, I can't do anything but an excerpt on this. But she's definitely making implications toward me, which are rather threatening, that I find.
To contact my brother and tell everything about Barry. So, I will tell you, old man, that my brother knows about Barry. And my brother is not believe anything what he told other people. And my brother knows everything. So, if you want to talk my brother, if you want to come here in our barangay, you are free. And make sure that you are telling the truth. If not, you will know what's happening.
If not, you will know what happened.
Because you are wasting time about that. And then, you hate very much. And my family is not, we ignore what you're saying, but my brother knows that who really you are, and has show your face while you're doing video or streaming, because you have face doing a video that you said that no face, no case, and I'll show your face that what you're doing here in YouTube channel, you are not a good influencer according to my brother, so which is not good. You are living here in the Philippines and you are talking about bad about Filipina, and I already told my brother that you are threatening to me. I'll show all the video that you're calling me a whore, that you said that.
The problem is the information she sent in on her complaint was not valid, not verified. There was no videos that were actually saying the things that she's accusing me of. Nobody's ever called her a whore. She has not proved that, because I never did call her one. Anyway, I found this video to be somewhat threatening.
Barry pays me to visit her to lay down with him. So make sure that I will tell you, Mr. Oldman, I never do everything about you. I will ignore for a longer time, but you always talking about that. If you really hate Barry, why don't you go to the detention center and give him a punch or whatever you do to him? My family is not included about this, your war. Barry is not talking about Gilda's family. You make sure that I think you have mental issues because you are talking everybody's business.
Accusing me of having mental situations. I'm not even going to play the rest of this, but you could tell by her voice and what she's talking about that she's very much supportive of Mr. Barry Jordan. And the report she put on me is absolutely bogus. There was really no validity to her report whatsoever.
Coerce coerce these people. I didn't coerce my girl, but I'm gonna coerce these people. Fucking, and throw a complaint on you so you get you. Fucking not delete them.
Yeah, this is where he admits that he coerced his girlfriend to do a report on me to get me deported from the Philippines.
So I'm gonna make sure of it. I didn't coerce my girl, but I'm gonna coerce these people. Fucking, and throw a complaint on you so you get you. Fucking not delete that fucking conversation. You go get yourselves in trouble. I'm gonna make sure of it. I'm gonna coerce these people. I didn't coerce my girl, but
I'm going to coerce these people and coerce my girlfriend to put a complaint against you at the Department of Immigration.
I'll say it over and over again, it's your pedophile, dude. And there ain't a fucking thing you can do about it. Not a fucking thing. Not going to fucking prison for you. Appropriate for what? Calling you a fucking pedophile? It is. Bullshit, bro. There's been no fucking mistake. You are not going. You fuck with children, bro. You fuck with kids.
So I heard a video earlier, the old man talking about my brother. He said that he's going to contact my brother and tell everything about Barry. So I will tell you, old man, that my brother knows about Barry, and my brother is not believe anything what he told other people.
All right. Just got finished watching a De Niro and whatever movie and... Oi. Okay. Today is the first day of the rest of your life. And it really is. I don't think many people think that way, really. So what you do today is going to determine what you do tomorrow. I know, a little philosophy again, you could handle it. If I could handle giving out the philosophy, you could handle the take it. You know the subject matter where life is really short. And whatever days you got left in this world, and nobody really knows, no matter what age you are, younger or older. I got an uncle who's over 100 years old, and he don't want to hear anything negative. No, he wants to concentrate on the good. Whatever good he has in his life, whoever's left in his life. That's kind of the way of thinking. You know, why do things that's going to, not allow you to enjoy the rest of your life? I mean, that's the way I look at it anyway. Clean your slate, do what you have to do in life to enjoy it. It doesn't mean that you can't handle other matters while you're enjoying yourself otherwise. Whatever enjoyment is to you, it's personal. And, like I say, if the shoe fits, wear it. And, all these cliches. That's how you should look at life, though, really. Don't let people bring you down to their level. Now, they always say, forgive and forget. Well, those are nice words, but there's some things that you can forgive, but you certainly can't forget. And there's some situations where you just can't forgive and you ain't going to forget. Those are choices you make. There's a lot of choices in life that you don't make. I know of a lot of people my age that, for example, have had a lot of losses in their family, whether it's their children, sisters, brothers, friends who've died, whatever it might. As you get older, that kind of shit happens. People kind of disappear, they drop like flies sometimes. But it doesn't mean that you can't go on and do good with your life. It's kind of a way you have to think. Not everybody thinks that way. But when you think, again, and I always talk about how life is so precious, and do the best you can with it. You got adversities, take care of your adversities. Get it out of the way and continue on with your life without any negativity. Sure, it sounds like wise advice, but sometimes life can get a little bit complicated, can it? But you don't let it eat you up like acid. That's the one thing you don't do. Find what you enjoy in your life and just go with it. I don't care what it is, really. It could be the simplest things, of watching a movie with your loved one. It could be taking a walk with the people you care about. It could be a small trip. It could be a dinner or a lunch together. Life doesn't have to be too complicated if you don't allow it to be. What's good for some people is not always good for the other. It's one of those to each his own type things. Oh, pardon me. It's raining like shit here today. Electricity was off from before 3 in the morning when it came on about 2 hours ago. I don't know what the hell's going on, but I'm glad I had my generator going. Well, it was, it was an on and off adventure with that generator, but for the most part, I kind of sort of had it running, so it did help quite a bit, but it got cool out, and it's been windy, and it's been really rainy, so behold, the drought season is going to be sneaking up on us here in the Philippines again. Oh, I've seen it last year. It was horrible. Every bush and blade of grass you've seen around here was brown. Cows weren't even getting enough water. Yeah, but for most people to know about the Philippines, rain is part of living in the Philippines. But it really does have its own seasons out here. So when you start getting into really like heavy duty, like April, yeah, it gets hot and more sweaty, and then you'll see a change. You might get an occasional rainfall here and there, but I think with the climate change and everything that's going on, I think it's probably going to be a really hot summer for here in the Philippines. Oh, I just been kickback mode today. That was it. I had to go downtown a few times, but take care of some biz. But I'm just relaxing today. There's no other YouTube. Wasn't even looking on it. Just watching a good movie. You only have so much of YouTube, let's face it. You don't mind listening in now and then, but if you're going to do that, find a channel on here that's, I guess they're not talking about the same old rehash shit all the time. Oh, how to find a relationship, how much you need to live on, and of course the biggest talk these days is the inflation and everything going on. The uncertainty of, everybody's relationship with China and everything going on, the new president of the United States, whether you think he's doing things great, you think he's doing things a little bit awkwardly, everybody has their own opinion. But one way or the other, it's like a shockwave. It does affect most everybody in some form or way. Stranger Things, I think I've seen that. Stranger Things. And I've seen strange things on here, let me tell you. Oh, pardon me. It's better yawning than fucking burping, Oh, I'm just laid back, which is okay. I'm not even sure what I'm having for dinner, but I'm sure I'm going to make it healthy. Wheat's good. It's about everything else.
working pretty good. I am at the point where I'm kind of turning off the really negative channels on here. Turning off, not meaning turning the cell phone off, but not voluntarily going to certain channels on here. Again, it's the same shit over and over again, just repeated on a different day. I know a lot of you guys got that feeling too, or been experiencing that. And it's really enlightening when you actually find a channel. It's really maybe not even, might even not have anything to do with the Philippines, but like the stuff I've seen on New York City just blew my mind. I tell you what, everything I seem to have done in life, the timing was pretty damn good. Now I think back on this, I think I did a lot of things the right way. Another series with Robert De Niro called Zero Day. This guy's still at it. Jesus. I can tell you, De Niro is not a Trump lover, I can tell you that. These guys are legends. Not everybody can expect to be a legend except in their own mind, but you know, when you go through life, you want to feel that you accomplished something, and what some people call an accomplishment, it may not be an accomplishment to some others, but to each his own, you know. You know if you've done something that you thought was a good mindset, something you did that was very generous to somebody. And I don't believe in a system where I'm collecting points for the big guy in the sky, because my mind doesn't think that way. I govern myself and my own feelings. There's that magic number 13 again. Boy, there's 13 people that absolutely can't miss my show. It's really weird. There doesn't need to be any talk about the usual, they say water will find its own passage and all that. And let things go where they're going to go. I'm not going to spend every time talking about an individual on here, because that's negative thinking. People set their own paths in life, and as I said, it's like this: you want to live the rest of your life, whatever you have left, fighting with somebody and being adverse with somebody or people. That's a choice only you could make yourself. I'd rather make the choice to just go on my life and, just let the legal system take care of itself, wherever it goes, in regards to that matter. Just do what I normally do every day. Don't sit there and pull out your hair on an issue. Sorry, a little yawning session here. And I'm going to yawn even more if there's no conversation going on and no dialogue. But let's just pop on. I finished a movie here. Had a little philosophical moment. I mean, if that's okay with you. Not that I need anybody's permission, but there you go. Whether you liked it or not. So, like the title says, adhere to that. Every day is the first day of the rest of your life. How do you want to spend the rest of your life? That's the question you have to ask yourself. When you continue to do things that are wrong over and over and over again, you're never going to reach your goal of being happy. Because it doesn't work that way in life. If you're being surrounded by negativity, try to stay away from it as much as you can. As much as you may like the drama. That could affect you in a lot of ways. Me, it goes through one ear to the other, and it's another day. And I guess that's the way you got to really think. Anyway, I ain't got too much to say here. It's not probably the best time to put a show on here. I'm just kicking back. It's all good. It's all good. And I'm going to make sure everything remains all good. Just heed my advice. Take life one day at a time. That's all you can do. Is that right there? Take life one day at a time. Is that right or wrong?
Yeah.
Right. And I got the good one, which is every day is the first day of the rest of your life. Right?
Yeah, it's true.
Yeah, every day is the first day of the rest of your life. And how you choose to spend it? Well, that's a personal thing. I can't tell anybody what to do. It's something you have to do for yourself. You want to have some bliss in your life. You want to have pleasure in your life. You want to, you don't want to, you want a tranquil lake. You don't mind a few ripples. But beyond that, keep your life placid. And try not to jump in. Now, the one thing I've noticed, though, is the one thing that people can't stay away from. And the one thing I've always said on here, as I listened to somebody's show today, who was that? It don't matter. It's, I think people tend to get a little bit too personal with their lives and putting their girlfriends or wives on camera and, get into the issue of the topic you want to talk about. But I think just giving out too much information. What your house looks like, what the outside, what the inside, how many members are in your family, putting them on camera. Those are probably the biggest do-nots that if you're going to start a YouTube channel, because there's always some psychotic out there that wants to know just a little bit more. And they'll research you and they'll do whatever they have to do to try to find fault with you. So, Stitch. What's a Stitch? Probably some transient. There's that Magic 13. Always that Magic 13 number there. Yeah. But it's not really a phony baloney statement, Kind of treat life like, it's your last day. Because you never really know. And, if I had all this time was just a fly on the wall, and just listening to what goes on YouTube, where I had no involvement with YouTube at all, I think I would look at things from a long time ago a hell of a lot different. I mean, I did then, I still do now. People yelling at each other, calling each other names, and making allegations on people, some of them that never met you. And you think to yourself, is this, I don't know, what do you call this now? What generation? Now I'm hearing things like the woke generation. Before that, it was the millenniums. Why does every generations need a label? There was another one. There was a second part of Generation X or something. We all seem to label people in such ways. The only thing I could say is that I see these new generations as being or going into huge deterioration. I see little things. I've seen even like the kids here, some of them like to play games on their phone, and you don't see them maybe half the day or more. And it makes you wonder, is the kid home? Is he at some function at church or school or whatever? But I think although the cell phone has been a great tool for research and for people that are like really like lock-ins, they're disabled or something, it's the only way they can make friends and socialize with the rest of the world. Outside of that situation, things have changed radically. It's never much one-to-one anymore. These kids, they come home from school and they're on that phone. And sometimes they don't get enough sleep. They're playing games or talking to their friends. And they don't leave much time for socializing, one-to-one. If you haven't noticed that going on, then you've been in some nutshell somewhere. You need to break out of that shell and look around you and see what's really going on. Society is just falling apart. And people, it's a different way of expressing themselves now. Now it's like on social media, on an electronic instrument. It's really easy to shout names at people. Shout out, shout out, shout out, shout out to shout out. It's real easy to make allegations. It's real easy to label somebody or something when you're behind your cell phone or your laptop. It's a new era of bullies, only these are electronic bullies. Who would ever thought? And most bullies don't like being confronted, but they figure they can get away with that on social media, on this electronic communication devices. And they sure do say a lot. But the one thing they have in common, the bullies, is that generally they will never meet up with you. Generally they will never do anything that they threaten to do to you. I mean, it's just their protective environment. Maybe they live thousands of miles away from you and they figure you're not going to do shit. You're never going to see them, they're never going to see you. But you never know about that. Stranger things have happened. Good old saying. And stranger things can happen. But bravery on the phone is one thing, but confronting somebody is a whole other issue. But the one thing that always, since I've lived in the Philippines, got me was that why would you want to commit a crime in the Philippines? Of all places, developing country, and the laws might be similar to America or Western culture some ways, but they could be radically different in other ways. All these shows you see, Locked Up Abroad, they're very popular, and people sit there with their family in the Americas and, oh, what a horrible situation that is. I would never want to get in trouble in that country, hon. Yeah, then you come and live here, and you see the reality of what goes on in a foreign country, and how people are so absolutely stupid and dense to try to do things in this country, not your own country, that could put them in a really bad situation. And you ask yourself, why do they do that? What's driving them? I think there's a lot of pent-up anger. I think there's a lot of pent-up bitterness of the way their life is going for them. They're not very happy, and they want other people to feel just as bad as they do, just as miserable. Like the old saying is, I'm putting out all these cliches and all that, but, misery loves company, apparently. And that's pretty strong here on YouTube. I would venture to say that most trolls on YouTube are probably not living anywhere near the life that someone who moved out here and kind of got their shit together in many ways, how they're living. I think it would probably be radically different. But that's why they're bitter. They weren't able to make it out here, or couldn't handle it, couldn't make the team, shall I say. So you join whatever team you can, even if it's the wrong team. Let's go against somebody. Let's group people together. Let's put together a wolf pack and attack other people. And I guarantee you, if you get those same people together in one spot, and if you were to examine their lives, they probably all have one thing in common. They're alone, or not in a real good relationship, or they're not financially stable to be able to come out here and live a new life, or maybe they tried and failed, or maybe their personality was just too intense for the very simple people here that don't like turmoil here in the Philippines, that have a more relaxed attitude than a lot of Western people. Then I guess it's not the place for you. But again, of course, do your research before you decide to come out here. I'm not going to go into some big scenario about the same shit that's being rehashed. You know, do your research on the woman and this and that, and before you get too involved. The one thing is true, I could tell you about Filipinos, that is true. Maybe a few people talked about it. I might have heard one or two. Filipinos will definitely, if you're going to do a long-term, long-distance rather relationship, they got to hook you first. If they have a real interest in you, they will try to get you emotionally involved with them. Now, good and bad could come out of that. The bad one, we'll go to the bad first, is that if they're not the right person, they will be absolutely asking you for money. There's always something coming up. You've heard that before, and I don't want to sound like everybody else, but I got to mention that. Those are the wrong ones. Okay. That was number 2. Who was number 1? Okay. Because long distance relationships can work, but you got to play it slow. And I think most men, as they're getting older, because that affected me too in the beginning. You see yourself getting older, and you meet perhaps somebody on the dating sites. Oh yeah, interesting, you know. And you're thinking, man, I'm running out of time, brother. And that's kind of the thought process to have. I'm running out of time. I got to put this into hyper speed, this long distance relationship. And the mistakes they make, of course, to keep the woman is to offer money or gifts or something like that. Don't go into that. That's how you can test whether she's actually a good person for you or not. Of course, you've heard that 1,000 times. So that's why we're not going to dive too deeply into that. You'll know. You really have to take your time. And there's some people that are still working, and they just can't, you know, run to the Philippines. But that's really kind of something else, too, to talk about, and I'll go into that briefly. If you're not ready to retire in the Philippines, unless you got a lot of money, you don't have to wait till your Social Security or to get a work pension. If you're in that rare position, and there are some people that are, sure, that's like the best scenario in the world. You know, you don't have to wait till retirement age. It's better when you're younger. Because I do believe it, I really do, that it is better when you are closer in age. But unfortunately, I think there's a big loss to these expats because they want to concentrate on the youngest they could find. But the biggest audience of the selection of women that they're missing out on is the ones that are in their 30s and above. That's the lost market out here. And there's a lot of good-looking women at that age that got their shit together. And I think the guys are missing out on that. Again, it's like reliving the youth. That's what it's all about with a lot of foreigners. I may be this age, but maybe I could cheat Father Time. And by getting somebody that's barely legal age, hey, I'm a teenager again. My body doesn't show it. My joints are hurting. I'll probably die in 10 years. But if I can get a hold of a barely legal woman, which is so common with the expats that come here, they think they're going to be that teenager again. But the fact is, they're not going to be able to keep up with somebody at that age, and you have absolutely nothing in common. So, you know, I could give you advice, but you got to be able to take that advice. It's not what you really think it is. And lo and behold, there's a lot of Filipinos that don't really choose to want to be what somebody does, you know, the big age gap thing. I mean, a huge age gap. Sure, it might benefit her while she's with the guy and he's giving her some money, and that's why they probably hang with him, a lot of cases. But what are you getting out of it, really? Do you want to make love to a woman that you know truly loves you and cares for you? Or do you want to do that, just have recreational sex with a woman, then she's gone when it's over, the next morning you're alone again? And I know names and I know expats that are out here right now that are doing that. They're in different places. They're in Philippines. They're in Vietnam. They're all different parts of Asia. And they're basically chasing their tails. Not going anywhere. And they're aging. I'm not saying there's any rule that you have to settle down with somebody. I mean, some people actually prefer to be independent. And there's nothing wrong with that if that's what you really want. But, forewarning here. Oh, does somebody have a little bat for their cell? Check mine out. Steel. But as you get older, come in, Gigi, come in. You're going to find that you need to settle down whether you like it or not, and whether you've been a person who's been enjoying their independence. And as I said, there's nothing wrong with having some independence. But it comes to a point in your life that maybe, just maybe, you just can't be that independent anymore. Because your body is telling you that something's got to change, man. Footloose and fancy free doesn't always cut the mustard as you start getting a certain age. And some things you may not be able to do for yourself anymore. It could be gradual. It could be actually sudden. Oh, listen to those cats. They know it's dinner time. Amazing. Oh, might as well turn this on. Yeah, it's a rather wet day today. But I welcome the rain because it cools things down. Don't have to run the aircon. But just think about what I'm saying. Makes sense. You know these guys that go around saying they're living a 5-star lifestyle, when the reality is they're not. They're living in a dumpy apartment for a couple $100 a month. And then they'll put themselves in front of a fancy resort as if they're actually staying there. I don't know what that's all about. But they know how they're living, and whether they're lying or not, they know. But they want everybody to, for some reason, they feel they need to impress people. I'm not trying to impress anybody, really. The only person I'm trying to impress is myself. I'm happy I'm able to settle down out here. I'm happy I got an income that'll, sustain me. Got a decent house, decent roof over my head. I don't have to live in a Cuba, Don't have to eat fish heads and rice. Boy, I'm grateful for that. Hey, I cheat, though. I'll have a little bit of that white rice now and then. It's not my, I add it as a filler with something. I've had meat mixed with meat and vegetables or something like that, But, as you get older, you start seeing things happening. It's kind of scary in a way. Friends are dying. Family members are dying. And you're saying to yourself, why am I still here? Am I doing something right? Is it genetics or what I eat or what I take otherwise on top of that? I couldn't tell you. I mean, I'm not complaining about it. But like I said, there's no guarantee. I've always said it on my show. I don't care how long you've been listening to me. There are no guarantees in life at all, but at least do something in your life where you're not at odds with somebody all the time. That can be really stressful, and I'm not letting that stress get to me. It has nothing to do with medications. I just don't let that stress get to me. There was a time I'd be yelling on camera years ago. I have not yelled on camera for a long time. I was allowing people to get the best of me, and I've learned from those days. I take life day by day, man. If I do a show on, I speak what's on my mind. But at least I try to be as honest as I can with people, because I don't see there's any reason to be dishonest with people if you're going to do a show. Because people listen to you, and they're either going to take to you or not. But I think if you come on a show and you're constantly lying, again, the old boy who cried wolf syndrome, it gets old with people, and after a while they just tune out, and then you're really talking to yourself.
And we got some people on here that actually do talk to themselves. So, I mean, a lot of mania on here. But think of the miracle that you got up this morning out of bed, you were still alive. I'm not saying that you can't, grab the bull by the horn sometimes and kind of get people straight on something, no matter what you have to do to make sure that they're straight on something. There are times that you have to do that. And sure, it may not be something that you actually want to do. But sometimes there are things that you have to do. There's a difference between wanting and having to. Or it could be a combination of both. Not everybody wants to get involved with legal matters. Not everybody wants to get involved with, everything from relationship issues to all that shit. But it's like this. Life happens. It just happens. And sometimes things happen that you don't want to happen. You could be feeling fantastic one day and you wake up the next day and all hell breaks loose. Socially, economically, physically, emotionally, you name it. It happens. Shit happens. And that saying should have been trademarked or something. Maybe it was. Shit happens. Like the smiley face, they never filed to be their own trademark, But shit happens, and it's just 2 words. That's all you need. Shit happens. And when you least expect it. Which simply means that you don't know when you're going to have an accident. You could be a driver. And you might be the greatest driver around. A good defensive driver. But somebody makes a mistake. And then your whole world just goes in a different direction. Maybe you got injured from it, be permanent injuries that you'll never get over again. Maybe you'll die. That's why it's called an accident. You didn't plan it, but you could plan your life a little bit better. You got business to take care of, right? Take care of your business. And then once you take care of it, move on with your life. But it does not mean that while you're taking care of business, whatever that might refer to, it doesn't mean that you shouldn't go on with your life and do what you normally do. I mean, that's what I do. There's some issues and tissues I'm dealing with right now, but there's nothing changed from that at all. I wake up in the morning, do what I need to do when I get up in the morning like anybody else does. Shit, shave, shower, whatever you need to do. Make some tea. Get yourself all woken up. You care to do a show, you do a show on here. It's routine. But at least you have a routine, and some people don't. They just do everything haphazardly with their life to themselves and to others. And then they face the consequences of their actions, which are usually not very good. I guess this is a monologue here, I guess. Oh, I'm not even sure what I'm eating tonight. Oh, I think she bought some earlier in the fridge. Got to heat it up. Okay. I'm just going to continue to watch movies. It's a rainy day out there, and it's cool. And I'm enjoying the season right now because I know, even though it's been pretty warm these days here, I know that coming into the end of March or into March, and actually especially into April, things change quite a bit. A lot more sun, which is nice, but you're going to get a lot of it. It's going to get a lot hotter and maybe even more humid. And if you're fortunate enough to live in a half-decent place and you could afford air conditioning, then you're a step ahead of others that don't have that. Because the way I look at it, I want to be comfortable as I age. I want to have all the creature comforts I possibly could have. I could rough it up if I had to. That's not a problem. I don't have a problem with roughing it up. But I think what overrides that is the need as I get older to get and feel the comfort that I'm looking for. I don't ever want to put myself in a position where I'm uncomfortable. My bedding is good. I can control the temperature in the house.
make sure I got food in the fridge or freezer. Okay, I've got my bases pretty well covered. I got the partner, 9 years now, 9 years, 9 years. So I'm in my comfort zone, not the twilight zone as some people live, but I'm in my comfort zone. And I think to achieve that level, you either did something right or you just got plain lucky, or maybe a combination of both. For those that have not achieved that yet, well, you know what? You're still alive. You can find happiness, but you can't necessarily find happiness in a relationship necessarily. You have to love yourself before you could love somebody else. And that's another cliche, I guess, but it makes a lot of sense. If you're hard on yourself and you're bitter all the time, it's going to show out in your relationship if you marry somebody. It's going to come out sooner or later. And you got to make that conscious decision. Is being married the right thing to do, to get married if you're not ready yet, or you're doing it for the wrong reasons? It'll come back to bite you in the ass in a big way. When you find somebody you're interested in, just take it slow, man. I know. Listen, I know. You're seeing yourself getting older, and you're thinking, I got to latch on to somebody. You don't want to be alone. Not many people really want to be alone. They may pretend that they like their independence, that they're just going to go out and screw around a lot of women, and that's what makes them happy. But I could always put a guarantee on that. I'd say that 90% of those people, if I had to come up with a percentage, are not satisfied. They get, but they usually have to pay for their company, which is sad in itself that they actually have to take out of their pocket to have a night of sexual bliss with a female, or maybe their other choice is a male, whatever floats your boat. Then you're alone the next day. Then it's, rinse and repeat. And you can't go through life that way. It gets really empty. I lucked out. I mean, big time. I really did luck out. I'm so happy and comfortable with my situation. And believe me when I tell you, and I think you'll believe me when I tell you this, somebody tries to change that situation for me, they're going to be met with a hell of a lot of adversity. I can guarantee you that. Nobody's going to put tsunami-sized waves on my placid lake. I'm not going to let that happen. Or I guarantee you, there'll be a hell of a lot of adversity. When you're happy where you are, like the song says, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. Well, I'm holding the phone, I can't clap my hands. I'm happy where I'm at. And when somebody tries to change that in a negative way, well, read my mind. Read my mind. It's the best advice I could give my viewers is that too bad there's not a dialogue going on here, but oh well. Call it a monologue, that's okay. I don't time myself when I come on here. If I got something to say, I'll come on and do a show, but it really doesn't matter what the timing is on here. As long as I can get the message out and my thoughts, I'm good with it. I'm good to go. Good to go. Don't complicate your lives any more than you need to. And I think put a limit on your socializing on electronic media if you can. I know a lot of people enjoy to have shows, and a lot of them do daily shows, even multiple. And a lot of times I do that. But limit it and go about your daily business. I don't care what it is. Spend time with your partner, go out on chores, do what you got to do, work in the yard, socialize with your neighbors, whatever you need to do, not necessarily want to do, what you need to do. Well, actually, what you want to do, yes, both. But don't get so driven by social media that it actually consumes you. And I think all of us, and I always include myself, sometimes we get too consumed with being on social media. And I understand why. It's not just a drama thing with some people, but I think when you're living in another country, although you don't necessarily want to hang with a bunch of foreigners because you moved out of your country because, you want to experience a different culture. You don't want to necessarily be around the same people. Like all these people in Dumageddon, as many people call it, for example. That is the worst place in the world to be. You might as well stayed in your own country than if you have to go move to Dumageddon. And all these foreigners are fighting with each other on YouTube and social media in Dumageddon. What a horrible place to live, is what I'm thinking. They're all fighting with each other. And because they hear a lot about Dumageddon on here, that's what's driving people to move, to settle in a place that people are talking quite a bit about, but they're not paying enough attention. Dumageddon is exactly that. Dumb. Come get me. Getting involved with these people who are into extreme gossip. That's Dumageddon. It's the foreign home of foreigners, seemingly the choice to live, only because I think foreigners have an inert need to be around people from their Western culture, and that's why they move to places like this. But then they find it to be very troublesome down the line, and they figure they made a really big mistake. I couldn't live there. If somebody paid me to live there, I don't think I could. It just wouldn't be the place for me. But as I was saying, that I think the one thing in common a lot of foreigners have is that although maybe you don't want to hang with foreigners, but I think we all have, just as I said, an inert need to speak to people who speak your language, that understand your culture, and some of them that are old enough to understand the things you talk about, the things you've experienced in life, according to when you grew up, what year you grew up in, the whole, you know, the different movements. I don't mean bowel movements, the different movements you've survived, decades, war, love, peace rallies. Some of the best music in all times were back in the 60s, 70s, and part of the 80s. God, I'm looking at some of these singers. I can't believe it I'm looking at. Did you see what Jagger looks like these days? Holy cow. And music is what takes you back. And you know you're getting old when you look at these guys, and some of them are still performing, and it's amazing. And a lot of them are dying off. That's when you know, holy shit, I'm starting to really get up there in age. If your favorite music heroes are dying, or you always remember them as being younger, how cool they looked on stage when they were younger and performing. Then you see a modern day picture, and it doesn't have to be a rock star or whatever. It could be a movie star. And you look at them now and say, holy shit, what happened? They morphed into something that I don't even recognize. And I've been through that. I mean, hey, I look in the mirror and I don't recognize myself, never less than anybody else. Reality is reality. You just do the best of what you got, really. Everybody wants to look as young as they can. You either got the genetics or something else that will help you look good. But the one thing I always talk about here in the drinking, especially the drinking, I always knew a lot about what alcohol does. But the more I'm reading on this and finding out, I never really knew to the degree I know now how toxic it is to the body. From when you take one drink, just one drink, it's really incredible what alcohol is so toxic to you. But not just sugar, but alcohol, which has sugar in it anyway. But I feel sorry for those that feel the need to drink all the time, and even more so than smoking. Drinkers have the hardest time. They develop diabetes. And all the metabolics of their body just break down one after the other.
That's why I stay away from alcohol. I got 2 bottles of wine here. I could have a glass of wine with my dinner. I might even decide to do that, pop it open. I don't normally. But if you have to do anything, you do something in moderation. And I guess that's the old saying. Moderation is better than overdoing something. And you got a 50-50 chance of having a little bit of longevity. So what is longevity that you want? You just want to do whatever you want to do and not care about how long you live, quality of life compared to quantity of life. And that's actually a decision that you have to personally make for yourself. I mean, look at people like the guy with the pig nose. He was chasing his tail. It's horrible. It's just horrible. Um, when you get to that stage in life, you're hitting 60, man, you got to do something. You got to do something. You can't chase your tail. I mean, sure, you can do whatever you want. Don't get me wrong. But you can't be chasing your tail like that at an older age, and you have to buy your company for the night. That's why I feel so, as I said, I'm not religious. I just have to use the word. I think you understand why I'm using it. I feel blessed, if there's such a thing as being blessed, spiritually anyway, that I'm in the situation I'm in right now. I don't know. I lucked out. That's all I can tell you. I don't know how it happened, but I lucked out. The puzzle came together. There was a lot of timing that came together with me, circumstances, and so forth. And I look at my age and I say, it's just a fucking number. I'm not going to go by these standards that the average guy lives to be like 74 years old or something like that. It's a very individualistic thing, what you've done with your body, how you've treated it, and what you do in your diet. And there's a lot of other, a lot of other sources that determined how long you're going to live. I really don't look at life as, oh, gee, death is around the corner. No, it's not until it comes. Death is not here until it comes. No matter what age you're at. You don't have to be in your 50s, 60s, 70s, and above. It could happen in your 20s. It could happen to be a teenager. It could happen. Prime of your life, your 30s. And a lot of people are dead in their graves right now that thought they were going to live to be a ripe old age, but it just didn't happen. Faith took place. Karma, faith, reality took place. You go to walk across the street, you didn't see that bus coming. Reality. You're dead. You didn't plan that. You would never have gotten out of bed that day if you knew that was going to happen, right? You can't always plan on everything in your life. That's all I'm trying to say in long form. Done? Okay. Yeah, speaking of, I gotta eat. I do eat. But look, either take my advice or don't. It really doesn't matter to me. I'm just, mouthing off here. That's all. Trying to share my thoughts about life itself. I mean, it is precious. And you'll know that one day, if you can't take that breath, you'll know one day, if your liver can't handle another drink, or you have some pain from either cancer or some other injury, YouTube is going to be so goddamn insignificant to you at that moment when you're in pain. YouTube is not going to exist for you unless you're going to get on here and e-beg for donations for your hospital or something, that you feel that everybody's responsible for whatever happened to you. Remember, the world does not owe you shit. And generally, you're not going to get shit from the world. Alberta, or out somewhere in the bumfuck Egypt, in the middle of the Antarctic or something, and you choose to live alone and survival every single day, you got to hunt for your food, you got to forage. How hard that is. If you don't get enough fat and other nutrients, that you're going to die. If you can't find any food, you can't grow any crops, you're going to die. So the best thing you would say to someone, don't live in a climate like that. But that's a choice that they make. People like that challenge. But if you don't choose to live in that kind of environment,
You have a lot of choices you can make with your life, you know, what you eat, how much exercise you do, if at all, who you want to be with as a partner. And don't just grab any woman that takes an interest in you. It's the worst thing in the world you could ever do. Or to use them as a tool because it doesn't work. It comes back to bite you on the ass in a big ass way. That's my advice. Take life day by day. You have any challenges going on in your life? Take the challenge. Go along with it. Take care of it. Get it out of the way. And ladies and gentlemen, men, you just, from there, you move on. Lickys Secrets revealed. How's that glucophage going for you there, Ricky? Glucophage. It's like metformin. It's a form of diabetes 2 medicine. Ricky takes glucophage. And he also takes high blood pressure medication. And he's having a lot of problems with his joints. And he has rheumatoid arthritis. And yes, Ricky does wear a toupee. He is bald. The secret is out. Glucophage is a generic name for, what is it, metformin. And it's for people with type 2 diabetes. Now, how do I know all this stuff? Remember a long time ago, he came over for breakfast. He did a big reveal. And we're talking about medicines. And that is what he told me. He has type 2 diabetes. And that's why he takes the glucophage. Yeah. Has high blood pressure. He does wear a toupee. He has to clean it off now and then. You could actually dye it different colors. It's made of real hair. It's not fake hair, but it's a toupee. Secrets, 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 secrets. And without him telling me, I could already tell you that he has a fatty liver. That's 100% for sure. And other damage to his liver. There was one more medication, and I can't think of what the hell it was. I don't know if it was for his liver situation. I can't remember the name, so I'll be proper about it and say I don't know. But he did say he had a fatty liver. He has gained a lot of weight. Now, when I met him, well, a long time ago, he was pretty big in size. Well, let me see, the last time I actually seen him was actually in SNR. Yeah, there's that 13 again. Met him in SNR. Jesus Christ, he was saying that he couldn't even find a pair of shorts that would fit him. He was walking around with the same shorts, just rewatched him. He was a sweaty mess. He had to walk from his 5-star low-income housing apartment to SNR. That's how he gets his exercise. But unfortunately, things don't balance out because his diet kind of throws everything off, you might say. So yes, it's true. He does wear a toupee, high blood pressure, diabetes, type 2, rheumatoid arthritis, problem with a fatty liver. And as I said, there's one more item, and I honestly couldn't remember it, or else I would tell you it right here. You'd be surprised when you talk to somebody what comes out at the breakfast table when he's hunting for those Hungarian sausages. Do tell, Licky, do tell. Ricky, I really wouldn't worry about what you perceive as my problems. I think you got a few of your own. Now, what happened with him a while back, admittedly by him on a show, and he had a number of 5 drinks for the night. I'm not sure what he was drinking, but it was hard liquor. His blood pressure went so fucking high that he got concerned. And later on, he was bleeding from his nose, which is a big indicator of your blood pressure going sky high. Very dangerous. Very dangerous. Ricky has gotten bigger since I've ever seen him. Bad enough for the pig nose, but, well, his face is puffed up like a puffer fish, which is an indication of a lot more fat deposits, which doesn't make it any more healthy than he is. There you go. Hello, Stefan. I'm not even sure how Ricky is still around. He eats and drinks so bad. Well, that's a good thing. I can't stand the guy, so I don't give a shit. What's this land deal that went bad? I don't understand anything about a land deal. That I one of Ricky's comments, if you noticed on his last show. It's easy to spread rumors about something that don't exist. The only thing I ever had to do with land is over a year ago. I guess it's been that long now. Is yeah, we did buy a piece of land at the port from somebody who needed the money right away. And we sold it a short time after that and made a hefty profit. So I'm not sure what he's talking about on a land deal blowout or something that I got taken. I don't know where that comes in. But then again, a lot of things Ricky says are not true. And that's why he has certain similarities to somebody else on here. I don't know. I just personally couldn't. I just couldn't see living his lifestyle. You got to understand, he's living in low-income housing. He's no 5-star lifestyle. And I was laughing at this place he was just staying at for the night, whatever, in Angeles. It had girly pictures on the walls. It looked so fucking gaudy. It sure wasn't like Queensland or something like that, Ricky. That was the gaudiest place. I think Barry's jail cell looks better than that. For a guy who's living the 5-star lifestyle, he's sure not proving it to us. If you were living a 5-star lifestyle, and you were making that kind of money that you claim every month, why would you be living in a dumpy, low-class, low-rent apartment building? I'm very familiar with the building. I know exactly where it is. That's a low-income housing. Now, if you were making $8,000, $9,000 a month, I wouldn't see why you would be living in that. Lies, lies, lies. 5-star lifestyle? I don't think so. Just like this gaudy place he's just renting for the night in Angeles City. He was showing it around on camera, and I'm thinking, is he calling this 5-star? And you got ripped off. That was a dump. There's no way he's making $8,000 or $9,000 a month. There's no fucking way. I know. Like he's just like Barry, okay? They're not too much different, really. Well, Ricky's definitely got more money than Barry does, of course, but Ricky's not making that much money per month. The only thing he's doing is making a fool out of himself on YouTube. His psychology is showing. Yeah, judging on his age, he's about 60 now. Judging from his weight and how he's gained a hell of a lot more, in consideration that he's on hypertensive drugs, hypertensive blood pressure, that he's on type 2 diabetes medications. Just glucophage, GLUCOPHAGE, glucophage. I think that's generic for metformin, if I'm correct on that, as I remember. And then he's got rheumatoid arthritis on top of that. And then he's got the obesity problem going on. It's really not a good mixture for longevity. He won't be around too much longer, though. They all float. They all float. Even you, Licky. Now, what seems to be the problem with Licky? He can't seem to find a rented date. Now, that's pretty desperate. It's bad enough he can't find a woman that would have a genuine interest in him, but he can't find a rented date? How could you not find a rented date? When things are drying up, his life is turning into a desert. How many times he's coming on camera and he's all alone? All alone on that telephone, putting his YouTube show on. But there's no woman on his arm tonight, and not for quite a while. I think he would resort to the lady boys. Well, he's done it before. And it was no roofie in his drink. That was all bullshit, man. He took to that like a horse to a June bug. Stefan says he's so swollen. Maybe he knows he will be gone, so he doesn't care. Self. Well, you know what? I said that. Thanks for bringing that up. I actually said that before. I think Ricky's at a point in his life where he knows he has all these health conditions. And I used to use the expression, he's just throwing caution to the wind. Caution to the wind. He doesn't care. He doesn't care what a fool he makes of himself on camera. He doesn't care what he eats. He doesn't care who he screws over. So he feels that he has nothing to lose. I think he's pretty much someone that's pretty gave up. Because truthfully, do you think somebody like him could find a real woman that has a real personal interest in other than getting drinks from him or getting paid for the night? That's not a 5-star lifestyle. Well, to him it might be. He could never settle down with a woman that would be interested in being with him. Just like that saying, I never joined a club that would have me as a member. It's a shallow existence. It's a shallow lifestyle. And Ricky could point his finger at anybody out there and make fun of somebody and make up bullshit stories, but let's examine his story. He's very combatant, especially politically. And, well, you've seen the rallies. He's showed videos in the past, acting like a madman at a rally. He's one of those people that the CIA and FBI has to keep an eye on. He's a danger to himself, and he's even a danger to possible candidates. When I went into SNR that time and I ran into him, if he had some problem with me, he could have took care of that problem right then and there, but he fucking backed down. Little old me. I mean, the guy towered over me, you know. His legs, thighs were the size of a tree stump. I'm not kidding you. That's how fat he was. He couldn't find a pair of shorts. Admittedly, and Gilda's my witness, who was listening to all this, he couldn't find a pair of shorts that would fit him. Imagine that. Yeah. Well, yeah, the swelling and everything going on with him, that's a definite sign of diabetes and also heart failure. I don't think Licky's going to be around for a while. Oh, gee, that's going to worry me a lot. I'm going to shed a few tears. Not. He's just a sick man who's extremely lonely. He needs that attention on his show. That's the only real attention he gets, because he's not getting real attention from the rented dates. Sure, they're going to be kind to him for that night. I mean, free drinks and a few bucks in their pocket to hang around with him and all that stuff. And I don't know if he's even getting laid. I think he has a little bit of breathing problems because of his obesity. In fact, he has to wear a CPAC at night. It's a machine with a mask. It blows the air down your lungs so you could breathe to get the oxygen in to fill up your lungs. It's an indication of different problems. So, you know, people have been dropping like flies out here on YouTube. I predict he's probably one of the next ones to go. Not so worried about what he says. Not. I don't know any stories about a failed land sale. I don't know where that one came in. That's probably the newest one. Haven't heard that one yet. Not yet. I just heard it from him. A little rumor he's spreading. And I'm supposed to be so broke. Oh, I ain't going to go into that again. Yeah. Keeps on talking about how much I make on my Social Security check. Well, that's my Social Security check. How much is in the bank? It's one way you'll never know. You can't get into my bank account. I seem to be carrying myself pretty damn good for a guy who's broke. Broke as a scope. Broke as a dirt farmer. He'd like to believe that. He'd like to believe a lot of things. But you know, Ricky, you're a total washout, a wash up. Hey, I'm settled down in my life. You will never be. Because you don't have that much life to live, actually. Why don't you tell your audience the truth? You're just going way out for attention. And since you can't get a woman on your own, you have to pay for your dates. That must take up a hell of a lot of your money. No, he ain't making no goddamn $9,000 a month. That's ridiculous. From what? That would add up to $9,000 a month. He even says they're paying for my ED medication. He came on a show one time and showed a bowl of what's supposed to be Viagra. I don't understand why you need a Viagra if you're using a penis pump. Well, that's what you told me. You know how I remember that? Because Philippines, what's his name? Who used to be in Angeles City. What's his friggin' name of his show? He actually told his audience he was using a penis pump. Then that dawned on me and said, I remember when he was telling me that he has to use a penis pump. I kind of think that when a woman sees that, he on a bike, the cats. That's a shame. You got to use a penis pump? Man, I wouldn't even have sex if I had to do that. That'd be the biggest turnoff to some chick. A penis pump? It's gotten that bad? Oh, cats outside the window here. Probably laying on the electric bike. This fucking window open. I'm trying to see what this cat is. Kit! As they say, Barry likes to say, Chet, Chet, Chet. So many cats around here. Oh, well. I think I see a frog out there, too. Oh, well. I don't know, Licky. It's really easy to talk about somebody, and you're kind of sounding like your buddy that you screwed over on the fund money. Sound familiar? That was funny, I must say that. I'll say that. That was hilarious, actually. Well, it seems that Barry is putting on and and taking down his shows, running for the hills, for them dar hills. Yeah, Licky's got like some swollen facial features. I mean, they're fat deposits, yes, of course, but something doesn't seem right in the coloration on his face when he gets out of that blue light in the room. Boy, that's a real classy room there, Licky. I think he said he had girly pictures on the walls. What is those fucking things you pay for the hour or something? What is it, Queensland and other places like that? Is that where you're at? But Rick, you know, the thing is, the place you've been at for quite a while now is far from being 5-star. Said you paid like $200 a month. I thought you were living a 5-star lifestyle. Well, posing in front of a resort doesn't mean that you're staying in that resort. Many times he stood in front of a resort, living the 5-star lifestyle. Now, Ricky's too cheap to want to pay for that. Every now and again, he'll go to one of these places just to try to prove to people he's living this 5-star lifestyle. You haven't proven it to me. Anybody else? I think his funds are going down. That's what I think. Playing it out. Look, it's like kind of like this. If you see yourself going downhill, and this is a fairly common human behavior, the guy is extraordinarily overweight. I don't even know if the geometry there, I don't know if it could work even having sex with a woman. I just don't really know. I guess if there's a will, there's a way, but after he uses his penis pump, that might turn the chick off from that point on. If I was a woman, that would turn me off. But you know what? You have a choice in life. You know, you have a choice of being lonely, or you can't get any woman that's interested in you, or if you have to do what he does, is to have to pay for his dates every night. But now it's even worse than that because it's been pretty dry for him. No, he didn't have a girlfriend the other day. He didn't have shit. And if he did, let's face it, he puts them on camera. He puts them on camera to show off. And you can show off any girls you want. You can show a whole harem of girls in your room, Licky. Doesn't mean you're getting fucked. Doesn't mean anything's happening. Buy them some drinks, they'll hang around with you, man. Let them put their arm around you. No, dish out that money, they'll put their arm around you. But the biggest embarrassment he's done so far, and probably more to come, well, actually, there's 2 of them, really. He was going down hard on a lady boy, and he keeps on making excuses. Oh, they slipped me a roofie. Yeah, we believe that. We believe that. Things were just getting desperate for you, and you figured, what the hell? But then one of these chicks he had, I found that absolutely amazing. It was another clone of him. The chick had that puffed out face, and she had the space between her teeth, just like Licky does. I don't know what the hell I was looking at the time. Is this real? How coincidental could that be? That's a team right there. He should have stayed with her. I don't know if she smoked. I don't think she did, but that would make a wonderful cigarette holder. Fit right between the teeth. And Ricky, if he was living a 5-star lifestyle, well, he would have had his teeth fixed. There's a way, 2 ways of doing that with braces, but if it's too much of a space, they could actually cap the teeth. They could actually have it's almost like a double tooth in a way. It has the width to it. of a regular, well, it has the width. You figure a regular tube, a cap, and you could bridge it. You could do that. And that would fill in that space. But if he's supposed to have all this money, think about it. He can't afford to go get his teeth fixed. The guy's a fat slob. So, you know why I laugh at everything you say, Ricky? Because I know you're on a path of self-destruction. Fazio died of neglecting himself, and I have a really good feeling that it's not too far away from you. Hey, man, my numbers were good. You always talk about my smoking. You said you used to be a smoker. Who knows what damage that caused you for the years you smoked? Imagine Ricky was an insurance agent. An insurance agent. You might as well say you were a car salesman. No fucking difference. An insurance agent. Yeah, I could see, yeah, he'd be good. More so at selling cars than I think, as I imagine, as an insurance agent. What a fucking loser. He's another person that's bitter at the world. He comes on and presents himself as a fucking psychopath. Well, is he presenting himself as a psychopath? Or is that just what it is? Mental illness. I don't know. You make your own judgment from his behavior when he comes on his show. I think it's a number of things. It's his psychology, and I think it's his cry for attention. He's a very lonely guy, and I would never, ever want to be in his position. He could call me every name in the book and hope disaster on me, whatever he wants. But the one thing I got, something he'll never have, is lifelong companionship. I'm not taking money out of my pocket for her to be with me every night. I'm together for 9 years now. A little bit of green-eyed monster going on with the Licky. But the one thing you're never going to play down. You're never going to play down. It's just like when Fazio exposed himself accidentally on camera. The one thing you'll never play down is the fact that you displayed yourself on camera for the world to see. And you had your tongue down a lady boy's mouth. And we're tired of the excuses. It was a roofie. It was no roofie. You were enjoying yourself. Why did you just admit that maybe that's kind of like something you like? Could be. But I gotta go. That's my relatively short show tonight. Ricky, take a good look in that mirror. Take a good look with your toupee. You're as phony as a $3 bill. There's nothing attractive about you. There's nothing a girl would want to stay with you unless you were actually paying her way nightly to be in your companionship. Generally, Ricky goes to bed alone every single night. He puts his CPAP machine on, which those things are noisy because my brother used to use it. In fact, he gave up on it. It was so goddamn noisy, it kept him awake. You think he's going to have a woman in his bed with a noisy CPAP machine? I don't think so. Sorry, I don't think so. Good night, folks.